Welcome to the Beau Show from Washington, D.C. Today I had a candid conversation with former Chief of Phoenix Police and Assistant Chief of the Dallas Police Department, Daniel Garcia. Currently, he is spokesman for KWESST Public Safety and Critical Incident Management. I hope you listen and enjoy this very important conversation about today's mass shooter and school safety situation. Chief Garcia, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm in Washington, D.C., and obviously the two sides are trying to find some common ground. Democrats, of course, are saying more gun control, bigger laws. Republicans are concerned about that Second Amendment. You say you have a third solution. Can you tell me what that is?
Well, I think in relation to crime issues, first off, everybody is attacking the gun issue, and certainly that's something that needs to be considered. But the fact is, I think there is a better solution. The fact is that technology is a better solution. Our company, KWESST, KWESST, does just that. We deal with real-time video technology that addresses not only critical incident management, but real-time crime issues. We want to take video technology that's out there today and drive it all the way down to the officer on the ground or all the way up to the chief of police to make the right decisions when crime appears before us.
So you are the spokesman for KWESST, and you just kind of described it a little bit, but can you tell me a little bit more about what it is and what it does specifically for the average person and why that's so important?
Well, sure. And let's take it from a critical incident management standpoint. I don't care if you're talking an active shooter, a major fire, or tornado, or a domestic terrorist. The fact is that police departments and fire departments are the first to respond to any type of critical incident. We take real-time video technology, whether from drones or from officers on the ground, and we can move it both ways, all the way to the officer on the ground, so we can see real-time video technology of what the crimes occurring in front of him, or take what he's seeing and moving it back all the way up to the command post or to a real-time crime center where this information can be digested and strategic decisions can be made to address the crime issue. This is real-time video technology that is not from a stationary camera, but from video cameras that are movable and mobile.
Okay, so and we'll get down maybe more into specifics in that in a minute, especially when it comes to Uvalde, because I want you to break that down for me. But I've said on this show before that schools should be our safest castles, and I don't know why they aren't. Is it naive to think that one security officer at a school can disarm and mitigate a mass shooter every single time, and why is the current system not working that we have?
Well, the reason it's not working is because we're not funding schools to provide this type of law enforcement presence. And the fact is, Beau, I'm with you. If we can't secure our schools, and the answer is certainly by throwing more money at it, because we can hire officers to be stationary at the schools. And to answer your question is, yes, one officer can dissuade an active shooter from coming in there, especially if he's there every day. They're looking for the soft target, not the hard target.
And in the case of Uvalde, though, I think about, I guess there was one door that was open. I want to play my mom for a second, Chief, because she was a public school teacher for about 40 years. She, I've asked her before about this right before she retired. She said they were starting to do training for things like mass shooter situations, and it freaked her out because there is this notion that if we arm teachers and we arm people like that, she said, Beau, I'd shoot myself or someone else before I got to the shooter. So what do you say to those teachers and those resource officers that are too scared? Because you talk about this non-lethal means. Can you break that down into how a teacher and people that are on that campus that otherwise might be afraid to be participating in something like this, how that works, how you give them confidence?
Well, first off, the fact is not every teacher wants to be an armed teacher in a school, and not every teacher is going to be proficient in firearms. One of the options that we offer also is a para-ops. It's a non-lethal device that launches a small projectile that once it makes contact, it's painful, and it also disseminates a chemical irritant. Now, I'm not saying that that's the only solution. It's another tool in the toolbox that maybe a teacher that doesn't want to be armed with a firearm, they can use one of our para-ops. They come in a single shot or a 5-shot. They're non-lethal, but it buys them time to confuse the shooter, time to possibly escape the shooter. But I certainly feel that the best option we have to secure in our schools is law enforcement being present in our schools.
And so you can't accidentally shoot or kill yourself, a student, or the shooter?
No, sir. We stand behind the fact that it's a non-lethal device. And again, this projectile disintegrates once it makes contact. And again, I feel that this is just one of the other options available to us on the toolbox.
And you're saying that not every teacher would have to do it, just the ones that would want to do it could do it.
That's right. You know, the fact is we can't make every teacher be armed, especially with the firearms. But this is another option, again, that's available to us.
Yeah, you talked about the surveillance too, so it seems that KWESST has this very comprehensive approach, holistic approach to it. You know, I was thinking with Uvalde, again, you know, why couldn't you have seen him coming from a long way out? Why couldn't you have locked the school down? Once a school door is breached, why is there not a central system to lock all the other doors on that? You know, my mom, when she went to public school, I know that you've probably known many schools like this, it's like you got to have a fob everywhere. Now, if someone props a door open, they can get in that door, but how do you prevent them from getting elsewhere?
Summary of what it takes us to move us forward. The fact is that there's a lot of things out there that we can use. And the fact is you have to have somebody not only monitoring the front door, but you have to have somebody monitoring the system of the school and itself from an aerial command post. In other words, maybe from stationary cameras that give you an aerial view of your entire location. Digital technology is out there that will allow us to do many things to secure our facilities.
Chief, I want to ask, have you met with any members of Congress about this and what solutions that they have proposed to you and whether they're amenable to what you're proposing?
No, I have not. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to bridge those communications yet. But I'll tell you this. The biggest issue, whether you're talking law enforcement, funding law enforcement, or funding our schools, is budgets. And unfortunately, whether you're talking city governments or you're talking school districts, everybody wants to pass the previous budget. Why? Because we had enough money for that. Does it include security? Does it include technology? The answer is probably not. It never does. It's the last thing we fund.
So that's what we're dealing with Congress. With respect to the schools themselves, are they able to work with you at KWESST and adopt these types of para-ops technologies without government approval? Can they do that?
Well, sure. The fact is that we're open to the private sector, and we believe that we can make a difference in that certainly in that area. The fact is, again, the technology's out there, Beau. We can secure our schools, and we should secure our schools. The first option is policing. The second option that has to go with it is technology. And if there's a third option, is allowing teachers to be able to protect themselves if they want to.
And it sounds like KWESST does both of that. You've got the surveillance element, correct, and you have the para-ops, the arming them with a non-lethal means. But you mentioned something that's very important in what you're doing, which is the budget, the money. Is KWESST an affordable solution for schools? If, let's say, a private school adopted it, will it be seen as, well, the private schools could afford it, but the public ones couldn't? What's the right way to direct resources to this? And do you think KWESST is an affordable solution for every school across the country?
No, it is. It is. And for one reason, it's a service contract. You're not buying our equipment, you're buying our knowledge. And you're buying our willingness to secure your school. And that's what's important. It's extremely affordable.
Well, that's good to know. But, you know, once again, I suppose even on a federal level, if we're sending $400 billion to Ukraine, it puts our priorities a little bit in the wrong place. Sir, has KWESST technology been used effectively elsewhere where you could point to some actual real results and effectiveness?
I can, but it's all military. It is all military. For the last 10, 12 years, KWESST has been focused strictly in the military field of technology. I was contacted about 4 months ago, and they wanted to move it into public safety. And mind you, Beau, when I'm saying public safety, that's police and fire. Either one of the police department or the fire department can use our technology. The fire department can use this to fight fires and knowing where to deploy their people.
Is there any school you're aware of right now in America that's using your technology?
No, not at all. Not at all. But we are certainly welcome the opportunity to sit down with the private sector, the school infrastructures, any private sector, and say, hey, yes, we can increase your technology, because not only do we have the technology savvy to do with this, but we can make everything talk to each other. The biggest issue you saw in Uvalde, you had the police department there, you had the city police department there, you had the school police department there, you had the state police there, you had the border patrol there, but could all their radios talk to each other? Probably not.
They don't.